Meet the man who steers Lewis Hamilton to victory. Lewis Hamilton is on track to becoming the most famous name in the history of Formula One auto racing. In 2017, the 33-year-old broke Michael Schumacher's record of 68 career poles and became the first British driver to win 4 championships when he steered his Mercedes to victory. On the track, Hamilton is the master of his own destiny, but it takes a team of 1,400 people to get his car to every race, and they are led by one man. Although Mercedes' history in F1 dates back to 1954, it has owned its current team for only 8 years. During that time, it has become almost synonymous with F1 as the team has broken record after record, and it isn't just thanks to Hamilton. In 2016, Mercedes won 19 races, which is more than any other team has scored in a single season in F1's 67-year history. Hamilton's former teammate Nico Rosberg won 9 of them and was crowned champion. Together they scored a record 33 podium finishes and 20 pole positions, with only Red Bull Racing driver Daniel Ricciardo beating them to it at one race. Rosberg retired at the end of the 2016 season and was replaced by Finnish racing prodigy Valtteri Bottas. Although the lineup changed, the result was the same as Mercedes raced to its 4th consecutive title. It may sound like this success has come easy, but in fact, it was far from it. The German automaker bought the team for an estimated $120 million in late 2009 from former management led by Ross Brawn, who is now F1's motorsport boss. Brawn remained in the team's driving seat and its performance reversed. In 2010 it finished 4th in the standings but had slipped to 5th by 2012. The following year Mercedes put a plan in place to turn this around. Step 1 was hiring 3-time F1 champion Niki Lauda, who joined as non-executive chairman and a 10% shareholder in the team. He made an immediate impact by recommending that Mercedes should hire Hamilton to partner Rosberg from 2013. By then the team had only won 1 race, but in 2013 it added 3 more to its tally. It was helped by having an extra hand on the wheel. In 2013 Austrian entrepreneur Toto Wolff switched to Mercedes from the rival Williams team, where he was an executive director. Wolff worked alongside Brawn as Mercedes Director of Motorsport and took a 30% stake in the team, with the remaining 60% owned by Mercedes. In a 2013 interview with American motoring magazine, Auto Week, Wolff told this author that, despite Mercedes' racing heritage, being an F1 team owner had sent it into a spin. He explained that Mercedes management told him, "We are a group with €100 billion in turnover, but we are not sure whether we really understand motorsport. We would like a professional who is not only a manager but is also a co-shareholder, who is involved financially, has an entrepreneurial risk and is, therefore, someone we would be comfortable with." It paid off, as in 2014 Wolff took over from Brawn and Hamilton won the title. The rest is history. Wolff may not be as well known as Hamilton, but his face has become directly associated with his success. Whenever the British driver crosses the finish line, it is customary for television cameras to cut to Wolff beaming from behind screens at Mercedes Mission Control on the pit wall. The lasting impression of post-race interviews with him is his methodical manner of speaking and a strong Austrian accent. The tall dark-haired team boss cuts a striking figure and in just a few years has maneuvered himself into being perhaps the most powerful man in F1. Yet despite his face being broadcast on tens of millions of TV screens, few people know much about his background and impeccable business record. Wolff is one of this author's closest contacts in F1 and over the past 5 years has spent hours talking about the state and future of the series as well as his route into it. Parts have been published in reports for nearly 10 outlets, but it is only when the full picture is put together that the significance of Wolff's achievements in F1 is seen. It is a long way from his origins in Vienna, which has never hosted a Grand Prix and isn't a hub for racing. Wolff was born in the city in 1972 and attended the Lycée Français. His father was a successful business owner whilst his mother worked as an anesthetist for the city of Vienna. His passion for auto racing was sparked when he turned 17 and went to watch a friend compete at Germany's Nürburgring circuit. Wolff wanted in on it and used his aptitude for business to get there. He convinced his mother to pay for lessons at racing school in exchange for his next 10 birthday and Christmas presents, but that still wasn't enough. Wolff was so determined to race that he sold his car to buy a Cita Visa, converting it into a one-seater with a roll cage in order to drive in the Cita Visa Cup. By the time he was 19 he had moved into single-seater racing and, unlike many drivers, was earning money from it within a couple of years when he competed in the German and Austrian Formula Ford championships. However, in 1994 his main sponsors pulled out of racing completely and this forced him to a crossroads. Instead of continuing to race he decided to focus on business and enrolled in the Vienna University of Economics. His decision wasn't just fueled by a lack of sponsors and personal funds but also because he knew that at 6 feet 2 inches, his height would be a hindrance to ever making it in F1. Wolff realized that he would learn more in the job than in a classroom, so he dropped out to take an internship at an investment bank in Warsaw. He accelerated through the ranks and moved into sales management at Austrian steel company, Coleman Handler AG. After 2 years there, Wolff identified an opportunity and set up his first business, which primarily involved acting as an agent for Coleman in Poland. After building up an impressive roster of clients he decided to take a sabbatical in America to consider his next move. Wolff found himself in San Francisco as the dot-com bubble was starting to grow and spotted an opportunity to capitalize on this in Austria. On returning to Vienna he identified small companies that were involved in early-stage internet technology and bought into them. His foresight paid off, and this kick-started his venture capital firm March 15, which focused on technology, software and internet investments. Wolff founded it in 1998 with fellow Austrian René Berger, who studied law at Vienna University and is now also a non-executive director of Mercedes F1 team. Their timing was perfect as March 15 was one of the first tech-focused VC firms in Europe and emerged as interest in the sector was surging. March 15 grew to have offices in Vienna, Berlin, Zurich, Warsaw and Tel Aviv and made a string of high-profile deals. They included an investment in Austrian content delivery software provider UCP, which was co-financed by T-Mobile and was eventually sold to American group Amdocs in 2006 at a value of $275 million. March 15 also organized the first round of financing and played a major role in the stock exchange listing in 2000 of Sysys, a provider of interactive simulations. Sys subsequently merged with 3 United, one of the earliest mobile startups in Austria, and was sold in 2006 for more than $50 million to network infrastructure giant VeriSign. In 2001, Wolf got back behind the wheel when a friend suggested they race together. He treated it with the same seriousness as his investments and won 3 6-hour races at Austria's Red Bull Ring, Misano in Italy and Brno in the Czech Republic. Over the next 5 years, Wolf continued to race, culminating in a runners-up placement at the Austrian Rally Championship and victory at the Dubai 24-hour. He also started sponsoring young drivers to give them the support that he lacked in his early days. In 2004, Wolf and Berger joined each other in the boardroom again when they founded March 16, an investment company with a similar focus to its predecessor but mainly focusing on more mature Austrian public companies in the internet and technology space. 2 years later, Wolf's passion for business and auto racing crossed paths when March 16 bought 49 of HWA, which builds and races Mercedes cars in the German Touring Car Championship, DTM, and produces Formula 3 engines. Wolf became a director of HWA and steered it onto the Frankfurt Stock Exchange in 2007. It brought Wolf into contact with DTM driver Susie Stoddard, who married him in 2011 and has gone on to achieve worldwide acclaim for her efforts to encourage more women to participate in the auto racing industry, as Forbes has reported. On track, Wolf wasn't so lucky. In April 2009, he was involved in a severe accident at the Nürburgring when his car rolled and he broke some vertebrae, suffered a concussion and lost his smelling and taste nerves. Ironically, it brought the checkered flag down on his racing career just as his involvement with the industry was starting to rev up. Wolf says that a few years earlier he had looked into investing in an F1 team but concluded that an independent outfit couldn't compete with the manufacturers like Honda, Toyota and BMW due to their huge resources. However, all 3 of them pulled out following the economic downturn and, coincidentally, in 2009 a door opened for Wolf to race off with a 16% stake in Williams, which, as Forbes has reported, has been in family hands for 40 years. Wolf's latest venture, known as Next March, was involved with the acquisition of his Williams stake and the initial public offering, IPO, of the team on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange in 2011. 2 years later it advised him on the acquisition of his stake in Mercedes F1 team, which was the driving force behind Wolf joining it. He told this author it was actually a very funny situation because when they made up their minds how they would like to structure it, they said, "We want you to buy 30 of the team, this is the valuation we are looking for, because that is the valuation of the team at the moment, and we want you to do this because we want you to have skin in the game." I came from the other side and said I wouldn't do it without being a co-shareholder because I'm an entrepreneur, that's how I function. I need to be able to develop the value of the company. Then they said, "This is perfect, it works." It has indeed worked, and although Wolf can take credit for that as he holds the keys, the part Hamilton has played is undeniable. In an interview with this author for Britain's independent newspaper, Wolf described him as probably the only superstar in Formula One and added that when Lewis came into the team being pitched by Nicky, credit to him, it was like a new motivational factor. Having a superstar British driver with his skills just helped to motivate everybody, and, besides that, he is just an exceptional driver. He is born with a great talent, great racecraft. He understands where to position the car, and although he is very emotional, which is needed in a race car, he has matured as a person and developed and stays calm. He knows what is good for him and what is bad for him. He knows how to put himself in the best mental and physical shape to race. It is, I guess, a process of becoming older and getting experience that makes him the most complete racing driver. Mercedes' success has put its engines in hot demand, and it supplies them to Force India and Williams. In addition, Wolff runs a successful management company with former champion Mika Häkkinen and has connections with a great deal of F1's up-and-coming talent, including Force India's Esteban Ocon and former Sauber driver Pascal Wehrlein. Wolff's impact in F1 even stretches far outside the series, as a recent report in the Daily Telegraph newspaper revealed that Mercedes' engine division contributes around £111.7 million, $151.5 million at today's rates, annually to the economy in Britain, where it is based. It has fueled Wolff's status as one of the most powerful men in F1, and he told this author that his venture is ticking over nicely. I think we have the perfect balance because Daimler is the mother company with the majority stake. It's just how it should be. For them, they were looking for a managing partner, that's what they called it. A managing partner who runs the operation like a mid-sized company, because that is what we are. He adds that you need to build a sustainable, dynamic organization which reinvents itself every now and then and is a competitive part of the championship, able to deliver race-winning cars every season. My role is keeping on winning. I have only one hat on, and the hat is trying to develop the team, making a sustainable frontrunner and a race-winning team. That's the target, actually. With Wolff's track record, it seems a racing certainty that he will continue to hit it. I cover the F1 and theme park sectors. Here is my biography, and here are the services my company provides.